Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to Trail Talk. I'm Edie.
I'm Mary.
And we are coming to you live from the classroom studio. We're going to be talking all things Flora.
Flora, Volume 1.
Right. And so.
Here from Duncan.
Yeah.
Chisholm Trail Heritage Center.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, you may not be familiar with the term Flora.
To me, it kind of sounds like a light term for some reason. It always reminds me of like fluorescent.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. But flora just refers to any kind of plant life.
Right.
It's just like an umbrella word for any kind of plant life. But we're going to be talking about 4 different plants that are basically you would find almost anywhere in Oklahoma.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, one of them is kind of a very small spot where it grows, very
particular.
But all the others are plants that you'll probably be familiar with. And if you live around Duncan, you've probably seen all of these. But the first thing I wanted to point out, if you'll go to the next slide, please. We have a new person behind the camera today. So there are a lot of places where you can find information about the flowers, trees, the plant life in Oklahoma.
The vegetation.
Yeah, and so I kind of wanted to give you guys some ideas. So there's a folding pocket guide of familiar plants there. And look here, it is the Indian blanket, our state flower,
So
right
pretty.
there on that. So this is just a pocket guide you can find
Information.
probably any state park or even some
Visitor centers,
hotels,
maybe.
visitor centers, that kind of place. Oklahoma Native Plant Society, this website has a ton of information.
A wealth.
Yes, a wealth of information about Oklahoma plant life, and it's kind of more sciencey.
More science-based.
Yeah, it has.
For those of you that maybe have a green thumb or are more familiar with those scientific
Right,
terms.
studied botany or kind of have a real interest in
Horticulture.
botany, that sort of thing. And then the native vegetation types, this map, of course, the colors match all of this information over here. But this just kind of helps you get an overall view of how varied the plant life or flora is across the
Just in
state.
our state.
Yeah, I mean, here, this area right here,
That's central.
that's, those are all kind of the same colors. And so these plants are going to be very similar, but you can see here on the kind of the extremes sides of the state, there's a lot of different color going on. And so that would indicate a lot of different kind of plant life.
And climate, just in our state, especially around this time of year, up here in the Panhandle, they get a lot more winter type weather than we do.
True.
So you can see up here in the Panhandle, the colors are a lot different.
Yeah, and even though I found this interesting that, Duncan's probably like about right down here, and this is called green country. If you break the state up into like it's 5 different regions, this part up here is green country, but they don't have that many different colors up there than what we do down here. So that's kind of an interesting thing too. So even though the climates vary, I guess maybe they don't vary enough to, make it all that different as far as what grows and doesn't grow there. But there are different types of soil.
Definitely.
Too. As we all know, the red soil of Oklahoma, the clay, but some parts of Oklahoma have a black soil.
Isn't it limestone? Is that what it is?
No, the limestone produces the clay. Let's see.
Well, I know we'll get to it though.
Yeah.
We will touch on that.
Right, but there's gypsum down here. I mean, like my mom and dad have 160 acres of land, like a quarter section, and it is gypsum. That's the kind of rock. The whole thing has gypsum on it, and because of the type of rock that gypsum is, water makes it deteriorate, and so holes open up where gyp rock is,
where it breaks down.
And like left. A hole will just open up in their pasture. and you look down in there and water has been underground for a long time. And so
Kind of washed it
it's
away.
washed all that out and eventually it makes the hole on the top. And there've been some big ones.
Yeah.
When I growing up, there was one probably about a third of the size of this room.
Really?
Yeah.
Swallow a car then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Easily. Yeah.
Man.
It was a giant hole. Eventually we filled it in, but I mean, it's just, that's the kind of soil that's there. And so that's definitely not going to be a great place.
No.
But, well, I take it back, that not the whole area, because then there's
Some
you
higher
cross
elevation.
the pond, and go up, and on the higher part, on the back side of their land, they have a great wheat field up there, and it's all the red soil and everything up there. So it's just kind of interesting if you stop and really think about the different types of soil and the fact that they produce different types of flora.
Right.
Or I guess they make they're a better home to some
Better
flora.
areas to grow certain things.
Than other places. And some of the rivers,
The water sources for those plants.
they are going to be a better area for some plants to grow than places where there's not a river,
Right.
some natural flowing
Right.
source of water. So anyway, just kind of interesting how different I thought this was kind of cool. So in Caddo and Comanche County, so like say Duncan is roughly here. So Comanche County, where Lawton is just to the west of Stevens County or Duncan. And then Caddo County is just north
Of
Comanche County and Stevens County a little bit. And sugar maples grow in isolated canyons in Comanche County and Caddo County.
Really?
Yeah. Which I thought, well,
Canyons.
that was, well, Red Rock Canyon is in Caddo County. And then of course the canyons over by the Wichita Mountains, that would probably be where
Another part of them
where
there.
where they grow. So anyway, so and also the state has a range of vegetation that includes approximately 2,500 plant species.
That is a lot.
Yeah, we're not going to cover all of them. Not today, maybe not ever.
We may never get through all those.
Right, but just to give you an idea.
That's a lot of different species.
Yeah.
And in order to classify each one of those as well.
And I think that maybe one of the reasons is because we have a lot of undeveloped land in Oklahoma. And I mean, I feel like I love
Wild
that.
growing.
Yes, native plants growing in their natural habitat. And I love that about Oklahoma, that we are not so overpopulated, that we have to just
Big concrete block.
right everywhere.
Well, I love being able, like the medians, the wildflowers that grow.
Oh, yes, between Duncan and Marlowe.
It's pretty.
That's our favorite every year. And in fact, one of the flowers that we're going to talk about is one of the ones that grow out there. Yeah.
So make the trip.
You're guessing right now, aren't you? You're trying to figure it out. All right. So the first plant we're going to talk to you about is called Bailey's hedgehog cactus. Now, you have probably seen this cactus around. I know I have. I always thought they were super cool looking with the they make me think of
spider webs.
Yes, and like little barrels of cactus. And they're not like you can touch, they're not like super prickly. Like
they're more of a softer, I don't know what you spine.
Yeah, they are. So their name is derived from a Greek word that means porcupine.
You can see that definitely.
And it was named for Heinrich Gustav Reichenbach, a 19th century orchid specialist, and either Captain F.M. Bailey, who collected flowers and things in Tibet in 1913, or Major Vernon Bailey, who collected on Mount Wichita in Oklahoma circa 1906. I'm putting my money on the second Bailey.
The Oklahoman,
yeah. Or possibly Liberty Hyde Bailey, a professor of horticulture at Cornell University.
So several Baileys.
Several Baileys could be the source for the name, but I'm going to go with the dude from Oklahoma. Now, if I'm wrong and one of you know that, please correct, because I'd like to know for sure. But anyway, so a small cactus, only about 8 inches tall at the most. These things growing out here are from a different variety of cactus. Yeah, that's something else.
We're referring to these.
Yeah.
Bulbs looking.
Yeah, this part, these things here covered with the little, like you say, spider web looking, or actually like tiny spiders, but they're not. Oh, they're not at all. And they get about 3.5 inches in diameter. So, fairly large. And then,
they cluster, don't they?
They cluster, yeah. And they might even have as many as 30 together in one place. They even produce kind of a fruit, but they have these beautiful flowers.
I was going to say the flower there is really pretty that it produces, and it looks like there might be some more getting ready to bloom here on top.
Oh yeah, I see those. Yeah, it's very pretty. I would think just like this photograph that was taken. I feel like it would make beautiful photography.
Oh yeah,
to go out and find some of these.
Definitely.
But they are a member of the Texas lace cactus family.
Okay.
And they're called like the shaggy dog of that because they have so many spines and they kind of just, flutter out everywhere
instead of an organized pattern.
Yes. Yeah. And these flowers can get to about 3.5 to 5 inches. That's a very big flower. I mean, that's probably about 5 inches from here to here. Right. So that's a very big flower. When they do make fruit, I think it's mainly maybe for seed production. I don't think, how like a prickly pear, fruit. I mean, it's full of seeds. Have you ever eaten a prickly pear?
No.
I've eaten a few prickly pears.
Can't say I have.
It's kind of like eating a blackberry or something as far as the seed content
in there itself.
Yeah. And they're sweet, and it's fun to say that you ate one, and if you're out on a hike or something and
say you've done it,
you want to be cool.
Life.
Yeah, you want to eat a prickly pear. Sometimes though, the little spines on those, you might get a random one and it hurts.
Stay with you for a while.
Like wearing it sticking out of your lip or something bad, your tongue. I don't know.
Makes me check my lips.
Yeah. But when you get a seedling and you plant it, these are something you could grow at your home
easily.
They're really fairly easy to care for. Yes, they are. Well, like most cactus, I mean, they're not going to tolerate a lot of cold or wet.
They're more of a dry.
But they'll bloom after 2 or 3 years. So that's not too long. That's a pretty quick bloom. Here's another close-up picture of the flower. I just think that flower is very pretty. I don't think it probably has much of a stem on it, so you couldn't really cut these flowers to
make a bouquet.
Yeah, but they really look beautiful.
They're pretty though in the cactus itself.
Yeah, very beautiful flowers. All right. The next flowering plant, I guess, is called a basket flower, and it's this kind of weave looking almost pattern under the flower where they give it its name.
I don't know.
It does look like it's kind of sitting in a little bit of a basket of sorts.
And all those different stems off the flower itself.
Yeah. Some people call it an American star thistle or star thistle. And it does look very much like
a shaving brush.
A shaving brush.
That's what they say.
It does look a lot like the thistles that grow out in the pasture. My mom and dad's are like in the mountains. Ouch. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they are mean-spirited flowers, and they will kind of take over a pasture too. But like they can get 1.5 to 5 feet tall.
That's tall.
That is super tall.
I mean, we're talking here.
That's a very tall plant. They have a stout, leafy, much branched stem and this really pretty flower. And the flower heads are 4 to 5 inches.
So again, pretty big. I mean, that's a big bulb.
Yeah, you're going to be able to spot these flowers pretty easily. They produce blooms from May to August, so kind of your typical summer blooming plant. They prefer well-drained sandy clay, loam, tight soils like along roadsides, prairies, meadows, just places like that, like a pasture.
Right.
That's a place that they like to grow. But these are big pollinating plants. These pollinators, bees and other insects, yeah, I guess the pollen of these plants is, it says it's very high in protein, and it provides nectar that's high in sugar and amino acids. So like hummingbirds.
Oh, I was about to say hummingbirds would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Butterflies.
Yeah. So
like you said, bees.
If you wanted to attract some of that kind of,
Get you some of the basket flowers.
yeah, they're quite beautiful. We do have another picture of them too. Here's kind of some of the stems. You can see the stems coming off. Now this particular picture makes it look less like those thistles,
right,
that I was
more far.
They're probably a relative, but yeah, you can see them bushing out here. Just a very pretty
They are
plant,
pretty, and they're pretty purple.
Imagine that is really about that big, that flower is. So these stems would have to be pretty hardy to hold
To
up.
be able to hold that weight up.
Yeah, for sure. They're not just in Oklahoma, they're in Texas too. The North Texas
Central
prairies.
Mexico?
Yes, yeah. They're one of those zone plants. Like when you were talking to Carolyn Rogers
Last
about
week.
crepe myrtles, she was referring to different zones and crepe myrtles growing. These are similar. They're going to grow in certain zones. The cactus is the same way. So these also were used by American Indians for venomous bites, indigestion, jaundice, eye disorders.
There's health, or there's medicinal qualities.
Yes, exactly. And part of the scientific name which Mary and I are not going to attempt to pronounce anything that's in Latin or that looks like it might be Latin.
We don't want to try to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to
butcher it.
Yeah, we don't want to cause harm to
the language,
the
scientific community,
the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center.
We practiced in
Oklahoma, Flora. I mean, we have a lot of people that we just don't want to do anything wrong.
To the basket flower.
Basket flower, easy to pronounce and easy to spot now that you know it's referring to this little basket looking thing under there. But yeah, they have medicinal qualities. The flowers were used to heal festering arrow wounds after a battle. Find yourself with an arrow wound following a battle.
There you go.
I mean, hey, go pick you some of these.
And it says also that the bob white quail, which we've talked about on here before, they like to eat those as well.
Yeah, so just an all-around great flower, actually. Has no known diseases or pests, and it appears tolerant of droughts, floods, and freezes. Mary, when you were talking to Caroline, you were talking about your challenges in growing plants. I'm just wondering if a basket flower would grow at your house.
We're going to have to find something. Or we'll have a lot of artificials that we will be changing out.
They do make some artificial plants that look kind of real these days. So
I could even go out and maybe like water, get my watering can there.
Exactly.
And this also says too that it has a really sweet or a honey fragrance too. It has that honey smell to it. So
something like a honeysuckle or something.
So it has a good fragrance to it as well as the appearance.
And that I wonder if that smell is kind of what attracts the insects and stuff. I'm kind of thinking about seeing if there's a place in my yard where I could try to put one of these. I've never even paid that much attention at a
greenery
greenhouse. A greenhouse or a
Well, I'm wondering if you would need
nursery
in the ground, or could you put it in a pot like a big those are some questions too.
Yeah, that's for sure. So it talks about planting them in a bed. So makes interesting cut flowers and suitable for dried flower arrangements. related to a bachelor button and cornflower. So, I mean, it seems like it's something that you could probably
Maybe
grow around your
I
house.
might be
Yeah.
able to.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to this next one, which I consider it's one of my favorite wildflowers.
pretty.
Yeah. The pink evening primrose, when we mentioned the medians between Duncan and Marlowe,
Mhm.
this is one of the flowers. I know you've seen these. They just pop up and they last a long time.
I know, for as delicate as they look, they really do.
Yeah, they're pretty hardy as far as the petals and everything goes. So they can get like 18 inches tall or so,
Mhm.
perennials. So you plant them and they'll just keep coming back.
Season after season, they'll go dormant or.
Right. They're hardy, drought resistant. The flowers are only about an inch.
Mhm.
So they're not that big. These are
Right.
yeah,
They're
these
smaller,
are
more petite flower.
yeah, just a pretty little flower, grown in gardens and escapes from cultivation. Now its name implies, most species open in the evening and then close again before morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like a crepuscular
A
plant.
crepuscular plant. Now, how about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Something. Yeah. Did you hear that gasp of air? We just lost all the oxygen in this room.
It was just all sucked out.
But if I thought it was cool, you mentioned this about the information. Some people say that they open so quickly that you can almost watch it happen.
Immediately, yeah, like, like you see those films, the time lapse where you see the plant come through the ground and grow and open. And they say, yeah, that this one, you can almost watch it in front of your eye.
Right, which I think would be a very cool thing to do. It makes me kind of want to go sit out and watch them sometimes. So they're showy, but they can be very aggressive.
Taking over.
They can literally take over. Which probably is why they're so prolific out in the medians. They just grow and spread.
Pollinate themselves.
Right, yeah. But so if you were to plant some of these, you'd have to be kind of careful about it because they could spread and take over.
Out.
Now, if you had a bed, where you
want a ground cover like
you got
that.
rocks here, looks like a sidewalk back there, where you could limit how far it went. Then
kind of give it a cutoff point.
Yeah, you'd be probably in better shape. Some of the information even recommended keeping the soil dry and not very good soil. They'll still grow and look great. They'll kind of grow in clumps though, as opposed to just kind of spreading, being a blanket.
Plant it in a bed that drains well, has poorer soil, generally dry, and it will grow in attractive clumps that way.
Yeah. But they bloom from late spring through much of the summer. But they make good container flowers too.
So they would just, like we were saying earlier, the pots and things and the planters.
Yeah, so you
could contain them that way.
Yeah, you could grow them. They make nice. I have a couple of empty pots on my patio. Maybe I'll stick some of these in there.
Pots.
Yeah.
Put some primroses in your
patio pots. I'm not going to spray on the camera lens. Okay, I promise. I promise. But yeah, the pink evening primrose. I know you guys have seen this, whether you knew what the name of it was for sure or not. Well, now you do.
Yeah, now you can impress your friends. And
next spring, say, hey, let's go look at the pink evening primrose. Drive them out to the medians between Duncan and Marlowe, and there you have it.
Yep.
We forgot to say, one of these, which one was it? Only grows in the Wichita Mountains. Is it the Bailey's hedgehog?
No, it was the hedgehog.
Yes, it is.
The hedgehog.
The hedgehog. This plant that looks like this particular cactus. is restricted to the Wichita Mountains of southwestern Oklahoma. Yeah, so if you want to see this bad boy, you got to go to the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge, which we've talked about a number of times on here. Great vacay destination for a day trip, lots of things to see and do over there. Yeah, that place alone has, I can't remember how many different species of plant life, yeah.
And animal.
Right. So, okay, we're going to go on and talk to about our final. Oh, I hope you didn't see that second one. It's a goodie. We made the slides especially. So the crepe myrtles,
which we talked about last week. Miss Carolyn Rogers and I did.
Yes. Miss Rogers, she is, man, talk about a wealth of
from
knowledge.
A to Z, anything you know about the crepe myrtle. She really does.
She does. And I mean, every variety, every color.
Even ones that are in process. Being developed.
I was just so impressed with her knowledge of everything, but that's why she's the crepe myrtle lady, right? And that's another reason why she was successful in helping Duncan
become the crepe myrtle capital of Oklahoma.
Right. But I mean, this is a beautiful crepe myrtle planted in a bed, allowed to grow naturally. Like she was talking about, no need to over prune. This looks like this has just had those, the ones that kind of grow directional through the middle trimmed out. And so these are very beautiful. This is a fairly dark colored crepe myrtle. And also, I thought that it was important how she said this is all one word.
Right, it's one word.
One word
because it doesn't want to be the myrtle.
Yeah, it is not a myrtle plant, but it is a crepe myrtle. So
confusing in itself,
right? But this is the correct way to.
And sometimes you will see it too. Also, a CREPE.
Yeah.
The A and the E sometimes will be switched up.
Yeah. But anyway, just a lovely example of a crepe myrtles and a beautiful color. They've come in a lot of. There's white, pale pink, a little darker pink, reds now.
There's different levels or like intensities of the red.
And then purples too. And they're all very beautiful. You can drive around Duncan and see all the colors.
That's right. Follow the trail, the crepe myrtle trail.
There you go. Yeah. But let's look at the next slide. Yeah, stop crepe murder.
This is what crepe murdering is.
Yeah.
This is what Miss Rogers was speaking of.
You can see where these large branches of this is an older plant, obviously, with branches the size of this. And all of the stems have been chopped off. So none of these are going to grow out again. They're going to have all new ones come out. And so when you see this done, or if you've done this, then you are a crepe murderer.
I feel like you should have a call 1-800.
Right.
If you see this happening.
If you can report the crepe murders too.
But yeah, that's just over pruning, which like she said last week, you don't really, I mean, if there was those reasons like the cross or a dead branch or something, other than that, leave them be.
And she quoted Dr. Carl Whitcomb
several times.
He's the horticulturist from the Oklahoma State University, and has a nursery / lab, I guess, in Stillwater.
And has
he creates these hybrid crepe myrtles that have a red color.
He's the one, I believe, responsible for like the dynamite and things like that.
So he even says, I mean, when you do this, you stress the plant out, and so it takes everything it has to like regrow all of those branches, and it's gonna lose all of its leaves anyway.
Right.
It's
not going to look like that first picture year round.
Yeah. And so, if there's some that you want to trim out, do that, but don't go to this degree. Whenever
if you're going to do that, you might as well take it out.
Yeah. We're going to call this first degree crepe murder.
Premeditated.
Premeditated, the whole shebang. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
But I just want to show you guys a picture because I feel like it was a really great point that she made. And
Yeah, I mean, she said the roots are what on the crepe myrtle are really, really strong. And even though it may look bad on the outside, generally and usually those roots are really strong. So just give it time. Let it try to come back.
Yeah.
And if after the time that you've given it, if it doesn't, then do what you might need.
Yeah, but yeah, just go easy. Don't take it back this far because you're really stressing out your plants whenever you do that. And then the last one, this is the Dynamite Red, which is one of the varieties, what she called patented. She referred to them as patented varieties that Dr. Whitcomb has created. Yeah. And she mentioned that he puts the stems, what is that called, where they put a stem of one plant with another one, and there's a word for that. If you're watching and you know that word, please type it up.
A hybrid?
Well, it creates a hybrid, but there's a name for that practice. I can't think of what it is, but anyway, they're just so durable, and so they're beautiful. They grow.
They don't take a
easily.
lot of work either.
No, they don't. I mean, we have 2 of them, and they just grow. My mom has one that has like a very dark red.
Yeah, she said
and has
more
red leaves.
Really?
It really.
I think she said something like a double dynamite, or he was in the middle of.
I think that's right.
Come up with another one that was even brighter or darker red.
I'm just.
I couldn't find that word
I
either.
can't find it. Yeah, I can't.
But if you do know what that word is,
yeah,
let us know. I think,
man, it's just right here on the tip of my tongue.
I think Bailey was looking for it.
Wish I could remember what it was. But anytime you see a red crepe myrtle or one that has variegated flowers on it that are more than one color and one flower, those have been developed, created, patented here in Oklahoma by Dr. Whitcomb. I loved the story she told about grafting. That's the word. Thank you, Bailey.
Thank you, Bailey.
Yes, so he grafts the stems together and is able to develop the different colors through that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I mean, just think of the genetic study of all of that. How cool and interesting that really must be. I was trying to imagine what the lab would be like, even where he breaks all that stuff down. But at any rate, the fact that they took the red ones to Beijing
for the China.
because the crepe myrtle came to the States from China. It's originally from China, and came to the States, where it has just become a prolific plant. But yeah, anytime you see red ones, they came from Oklahoma, and I just think that's super cool.
Which is like our Boomer Sooner Red.
Exactly.
So therefore,
yeah, for sure. Which is, I mean, the color he went for first. I know he's an OSU grad, but the red ones are probably very popular. So anyway, we carry on. We sure hope that you guys have learned some cool things about some of Oklahoma's flora today.
Things you can see around all the time. Now you can actually put names with some of those things.
Right.
At least I can.
Yes, and now you know a little bit about why it grows, where it grows, and all of that sort of thing. So we hope that we've brightened your day with some beautiful flowers today. So tomorrow, we have a couple of things going on here at the Heritage Center. First of all, we have Lunch and Learn, which is from 12 to 1.
Free.
Yeah, it's a free, you bring your own lunch, and Cotton Blossom Winery from Marlow is going to be here. They're going to talk about their wines, probably how they make it,
I
like
think
their
they're going to have
process.
sampling if you're 21 or over.
Yes, there's going to be wine sampling. I suddenly am free.
And I think you'll be able to purchase as well.
Yeah. And for everyone who is in attendance, we're going to have a drawing.
That's right.
For 2 tickets to the Chisholm Trail Arts Council kickoff concert for tomorrow night. It will be tomorrow night at the Simmons Center.
Date night. You guys can come,
right?
Have a lunch and learn, and possibly win tickets for a date night.
Tickets for a date night, and have a glass of wine.
There you go.
Waiting for you at home whenever you get back. I don't know, or not.
We're trying to help you.
Just yeah. So come and join us tomorrow at noon. As we said before, it's free wine tasting, and if you want to just come and listen,
you don't have to drink the wine.
You can do that. But Cotton Blossom Winery and Chisholm Trail Arts Council, we're appreciative for both of them contributing to tomorrow's lunch and learn. And then tomorrow afternoon at 3, we'll be back on Trail Talk, and Dr. Nathan Brown, who is a former poet laureate for Oklahoma.
I think it was 13-14, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so. He's going to be our special guest. He's going to be teaching creative writing, which is something he does a couple of times a year via Zoom. And so then we'll have a conversation with him. So I hope you guys will be ready to join us again tomorrow at 3.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, we're going to have all kinds of things going on. So come hang around. The TV moved.
And we also have our Raining in the Arts.
Oh, yeah.
On November 6th.
Yeah.
So
that's just like 2 weeks from Saturday.
1 to 5, free admission all day, all kinds of things going on.
Be watching our Facebook page.
3 stages.
We have tons of people who are going to be here, entertainers, local talent,
artists,
more than 20 artists.
More than 20 artists will have
singers, dancers,
sell,
poets.
You name it. We might not have any jugglers. So if you know a good juggler, or if you are one, give us a call.
Reach out to us.
Yeah, because we probably have a place for you.
That's right.
We're
We're
interested.
Open. We're open.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Come back tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
Yeah. Until then,
Happy trails.